Hello comrades, and welcome to this kind of unboxing. I've already unboxed it actually. Here's the box. I got from Russia, and you can see here we have a beautiful set of Russian stamps. I believe these are ruble stamps, 23 rubles a pop, which is the ruble is around about the same as 1 pence, I think. Anyway, got this from eBay from a guy called Vitaly Kozlov, who has got a really good rating on eBay. And apparently what you see on eBay is what you get, and this is what I got. I'll show you now. Look at this. This came today, a couple of hours ago. Beautiful thing. What you can see here is the leather case with leather strap. This is an original Russian fed 5C camera. Interesting camera. It's a film camera, and I'll just take it out of the beautiful leather carrying case. As you can see here, I'll take it out for you so you can have a look at this baby. The leather case, by the way, is in fabulous condition. And doesn't smell. A lot of these older versions of these cameras, apparently they get a bit smelly, the leather cases. This one isn't at all. It doesn't particularly smell of anything. It doesn't smell of leather. I'll just unscrew it here so we can take the camera out. But I will be using this carrying case because I think it's beautiful and look pretty cool too, and will protect the camera from the rigors of the outside world. I'll just put that away for a second and we'll have a look at the camera. This is a Russian Fed 5C. Actually, when I say it's Russian, this particular model was made in the Ukraine. Fed cameras, I'm not sure if they were all made in the Ukraine. I think they were. This particular one was made from 1977 until 1996 in the Ukrainian city of Kharkiv. And I read earlier that the Kharkov company made these. Now, the interesting thing about these cameras is they're a direct copy of the Leica cameras, which are German cameras, an extremely expensive camera, the Leica camera. This camera, if we look at the serial number, I'm not sure if you can see that there. There is a serial number. This camera was made in 1994. So it's very new, and you can tell that by looking at it. There's not a scratch on this camera at all. And if I take the lens cap off, I can also observe happily that there isn't a single bit of fungus on the lens. There are no scratches on the lens. This is an Industar 61 lens, which is 55mm 2.8, and you know, by all accounts, really a very, very sharp lens. Now, the Leica version of this camera would cost you to buy, 1994 version, around about £1,000 plus. Okay, this camera cost me $17.50. $17.50, which I think is an absolute bargain. Now, there's only one thing wrong with this camera, and this doesn't work. You see this here where I have my thumb here? This is the selfie, the old school selfie. So you'd pull that up and it would mechanically go down, and you could take a selfie. I don't care about that. Everything else works apparently perfect on this camera. And what you see here is the sensor, one of the main features on it, and that will tell you how much light's coming in. It will give you a number here, and then you set that number to a point here, which will tell you your aperture setting and your shutter speed setting. Okay, now your aperture is set here on the lens, as is your focus, and your shutter speed is set here. Now, one thing to remember, if you ever buy one of these cameras, right, if you ever buy one of these cameras, all the things I've seen about it will tell you that if you're going to set your shutter speed, which will give you the correct exposure, you've got lots of different shutter speed numbers here like you have on digital camera. Always cock the shutter first, then you can set it to your desired shutter speed, then fire it off. If you don't do that, apparently you will break this camera and the camera will be no good after that, right? So you want to be very careful. This camera is a range finder, which is very cool. I have another range finder as well from Ricoh from Japan, but what that means is when you look through here, the viewfinder, what you will see if you're out of focus, you will see two images. You see two images, you know you're out of focus. You adjust your focus here on the lens, and then when it becomes one image and looks sharp, then you fire your shutter button and you take your photograph. So all in all, an absolutely beautiful camera. I'll just show you how you load the film here. You open up these two nodules, or whatever you want to call them. Open these babies up like that, and then the whole back of the camera comes off. You put your film in here, okay, and then you wind it here, okay. You thread it through there and you wind it on here. One or two clicks, cock the shutter, click, two of those, and you are ready to go. Now, obviously, you can choose what type of film you want. This is a 35mm film camera, so you can choose, you know, what type of 35mm film you want, and obviously there's different ISOs. What's ISO, you may ask? Well, ISO is the speed of the film. So if you want to take some photographs, you know, with your friends, say down the pub, and you know pretty much that the light is going to be, you know, dark, if you like, then you need fast ISO film, which could be, I don't know, 1600. Now, if you go into the beach with your family or your dog or whatever, and you know it's going to be bright, then you could get an ISO of 100. And you have to choose your ISO. When you set your ISO here, the camera automatically knows what ISO you've got, and that will change what this sensor tells you, that what your shutter speed should be here, right, and what your aperture should be here. Okay, so this aperture starts, the fastest aperture on here is 2.8 f2.8, and I believe it goes up to f. I'm not sure. I think it's f22. Depending on what you're photographing. There's a counter here, so when you wind your film on, it'll tell you how many shots you've had so far. So if it's a roll of 24, you know when it's 24, you're more or less finished, or 35. But I'm so pleased with this. I just got this today, and I have to say, it's extremely nice and in beautiful condition. And for $17.50, I think this could be the bargain of the century.